Chapter 14, 56. Good news upon good news. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. It is finally over. This price war was truly interesting. Zhao Lianyun sighed internally. The sale of Yer Gu ended in Fang Yuan's victory. Many Gu immortals were shocked by the results. Such situations were rare. The newcomer actually defeated 3 seniors in this market. Most of the people were originally thinking that the newcomer was a wolf, while the 3 sellers were tigers and lions. But in the end, the newcomer was not a wolf, but a dragon. The 3 sellers were not his match. They lost terribly and could not sell their Yer Gu. For the following period, this year Gu competition's influence will continue to spread. It will become a tale for people to talk about. Gu immortals would reminiscence over it. Zhao Lianyun started to think about this price war. She wanted to gain knowledge from this price war so as to learn something useful for herself. Then why did the newcomer win in this battle while the longtime sellers lost? Zhao Lianyun asked herself. Next, she answered herself, because the newcomer has great strength. Even if the 3 sellers worked together, they were not her match. Using absolute strength to sweep the market? Zhao Lianyun was slightly dazed before smiling bitterly. She wanted to learn how to enter the market as a newcomer. Even though Fang Yuan's method seemed ingenious and meticulous, he had unparalleled strength to sweep the market and suppress all his competitors. Zhao Lianyun could learn nothing from him. Because he used absolute strength. Since the newcomer has such strength, why did he not reduce the price from the start? Zhao Lianyun asked herself. She felt like Fang Yuan's actions were a bit pointless. But soon, when she thought again, realization flashed across her eyes. I understand. Starting at a high price and gradually reducing it can earn more profits than dropping the prices immediately. He can also probe the 3 sellers' bottom lines. Finally, he is trying to assert dominance. The thoughts in Zhao Lianyun's mind clashed continuously. After this competition ended, the newcomer won. It was no surprise he won with such strength, but he is definitely not satisfied with just one win. The newcomer wants to dominate Treasure Yellow Heaven's market. Not only does he want to defeat the 3 sellers, he wants to drive these people out of the market. This person is so overbearing. Sigh, when can I possess such strength too? Zhao Lianyun thought of this and sighed deeply to herself. She had just started managing an immortal aperture. She was very far from Fang Yuan's level of development. No matter what, she had already etched Fang Yuan's fatty will to her mind. Zhao Lianyun saw him as a mountain. She who had just become a Gu immortal could only watch and admire him. Rongxin, Wang Mingyue, and Jie Baoshu were discussing among themselves. Sigh, where did this person come from? They have such great strength, able to satisfy the entire market in Treasure Yellow Heaven alone. Our Yer Gu are literally unsellable now. Wang Mingyue sighed. It is not so simple. He is trying to get rid of us entirely. Jie Baoshu was pale. His voice was turning shrill. Brother Z is right. This person is selling Yer Gu at such a low price. For the next few years, the market for Yer Gu will shrink immensely. No matter who it is, they are going overboard. Not only did they take the bulk of the profit, they also refused to leave us any leftovers. Rongxin had a grim expression. The 3 sellers had Yer Gu, but they could not sell any. Yer Gu was needed by everyone. Fang Yuan supplied this huge quantity. It caused a tremendous amount of sales. But these 3 could not get rid of any of their stock. Since Yer Gu were easy to raise, they only fed on the water of the river of time. It was not hard to accumulate them at all. This way, not just now, for the next few years, the 3 sellers would not be able to sell their Yer Gu. And for the buyers, since they had Yer Gu themselves, why would they buy more? Unless the price was even lower, they might want to accumulate a bit more. But the 3 sellers could naturally not sell their Yer Gu at Fang Yuan's price. The 3 sellers stored their Yer Gu up for now. But what was the use of that? After 2 to 3 years, when the market regains its demand for Yer Gu, after fully digesting Fang Yuan's sales, the price of Yer Gu will rise again. By then, the 3 sellers would be able to sell it, but Fang Yuan could do the same. If he did the same thing again, the 3 sellers would not be able to sell off their Yer Gu once more. This was strength. With such a difference in strength, no plots or schemes could work. Fang Yuan was a very intelligent person, but this time he acted straightforwardly. It was most effective to directly crush them. The three sellers became quiet after a while of discussion. The atmosphere was very heavy, because they knew clearly that as long as Fang Yuan had this strength, they would not have an easy time in the future. Even though the sale of Gu would not disappear, their profits from this business would shrink drastically. They would need to give up on the market in treasure yellow heaven. Right now, we can only hope that this person is putting up a front, that his actions were all just to scare us off. Wang Mingyue smiled bitterly and broke the silence. The other two immortals shook their heads. This was very unlikely. We can work together, Rongxin said quickly. This was a solution. In the past, the three of them fought and competed. Only after a while did they set an agreement to work together and gain profits together for a long time. But how can we cooperate with him? The difference in strength is apparent. Wang Mingyue sighed. Ji Baoshu analyzed calmly. That will depend on our ability. If Gu cannot convince him, we will need to discuss other things. What if he does not agree? Wang Mingyue asked again. Ji Baoshu was silent. Rongxin sighed bitterly. If he does not agree and wants us out of the business, we can only give up on the Gu business. There was nothing that could be done about it. Competition was cruel. Fang Yuan's strength made it impossible for the three sellers. They could only give up on Gu. But how could they give up so easily? The profit of the Gu business was sustaining them, and the super forces behind them. Now that it was destroyed, who could handle the outcome? No, I cannot give up on the Gu business. Ji Baoshu gritted his teeth. He was a lone cultivator. He had been relying on Gu to support his cultivation and connections to others. With this loss, it was a detrimental blow to him. Wang Mingyue's situation was slightly better than Ji Baoshu. She was once a lone immortal. She had turned over to the righteous path and joined a superforce. Even if there were no profits here, it was not her responsibility. On the other hand, she could rely on her husband and the clan behind them. Rongxin had the smallest pressure. Because he was also a member of a superforce, it was a central continent superforce with deep foundations. And most importantly, he obtained Gu from refining Gu. If he did not need Gu, he could just stop refining it. It was easy for him to change businesses. Cooperate with me? Fang Yuan soon received their transmissions. He sneered. Why would he cooperate? He could easily devour the market alone. Why would he hand over the profits to them? Fang Yuan rejected them immediately. 12 million immortal essence stones. These were Fang Yuan's gains in the price war. Even though his price was low, the quantity sold was too immense. He still accumulated a huge sum. When I drive these three sellers out of the market, I will be able to raise prices slightly. But for the next few years, the three sellers will likely still stay in here. Fang Yuan evaluated. On one hand, they were unwilling to give up. On the other hand, they wanted to probe Fang Yuan's foundation and see if he was scamming them. And finally, even though Treasure Yellow Heaven's market was taken by Fang Yuan, not everyone bought things from Treasure Yellow Heaven. For example, Wang Mingyue's super force behind her would buy a huge portion of her Gu. Other than that, there were many forces which would buy their Gu even if prices were higher to maintain relationships. Of course, as long as Fang Yuan continued to dominate the market of Treasure Yellow Heaven using such methods, in 5 to 6 years, these three sellers would have an even harder time. After all, the prices were too low. Even with their deep relationships, buyers would want to buy from Fang Yuan. In the entire Gu Immortal World's market, Treasure Yellow Heaven was a huge proportion of it. From now on, Fang Yuan only needed to dominate Treasure Yellow Heaven. He would eventually influence the other markets and become the biggest seller of the Gu business in the entire Gu Immortal World. As for the others, even if they could do some Gu business, they could not compare to him. After repaying my debts, I still have 10 million immortal essence stones left. But for the next 2 to 3 years, this way of getting profits cannot be used. While Fang Yuan was thinking of how to use these immortal essence stones to manage his immortal aperture, Sixth Hair approached him. He gave Fang Yuan some excellent news. Elder Fang Yuan, the food path immortal goo that you wanted me to refine has been created.